Hello, everyone. I'm Dear Myrtle, your friend in genealogy, but you know this channel's all about making journals to tell one ancestral story at a time. One document, one photo, whatever it takes. And today I'm ready to do the final walkthrough on this particular journal. You'll notice that I love this printed William Morris print so much that I did very little embellishing, added lace and a little bit of fabric there to kind of spruce up just a little bit, but I really wanted the William Morris print to shine. So let's open it up just as my grandchildren would if they could come over and look at the items in the steamer trunk. This book is about my tournaments with my brother, Mike. Michael Glenn Player, born 1952 in Seattle, and I was born in 1951, also in Seattle. Okay, let's see what's going on. Okay, now I have a test for the grandkids here. What year were these photos taken? Remember, photo booths were a big deal. And it said there's a clue in the background of some of these photos. And I'll give you a clue. It's not the background behind me. You may have to read the lettering and then Google to find out when the Seattle World's Fair was held. Might help you figure out the answer to that. I'll probably have to put the answer somewhere in this book. Okay, now here's a picture of a house and it says Wolf Tree. And it's obviously winter. So you can only see a few bare branches. But let's open this as we've been invited to do and read. I do not remember having a ping pong table before we moved from the Old Stage Roadhouse to this one at 7108 Wolf Tree Lane in Rockville, Maryland. I think I was in about 10th grade at the time. Believe it or not, it doesn't look like it from the front because there's a lot of stuff underneath the dormer that faces out back of this part. This was a 5-bedroom, 3.5-bath home with a huge eating kitchen, formal living and dining rooms, a den, a family room. The foyer itself was the size of a small bedroom. And Wolf Tree was a big deal. Well, let me tell you about Old Farm, the neighborhood. Not sure where my mic is. Old Farm was a Kettler Brothers development, and it was built on an old farm. And where our house was, as well as a few other houses near it, a couple on each side, was the actual barn and the actual old farmhouse. And behind it was the Wolf Tree, which was known in the state of Maryland for being the second oldest state tree in the whole state. When they got the rest of Old Farm built, clear way south beyond Farmland Elementary School, etc., they took out the red barn, put in our house, and took out the other home and put in Mrs. Lane's house and a couple of others. But the Wolf Tree remained for a long time. My brother and I used to play badminton on the lower limbs, which were up pretty darn high. We also had a tire swing there, but I've heard that it has since been removed because it was struck by lightning and it was unsafe. So it was in the basement of this side. So it went all the way through the foyer, the living room, dining room, kitchen, everything. It was this half. It was an unfinished basement. So imagine, if you will, my brother and I playing ping pong. Of course, this is gorgeous for me with long hair. And any resemblance to a scary monster, my depiction of my brother, is purely coincidental. We got so good at playing ping pong back and forth that to make it interesting, we would purposefully bounce it here on our side, let it go up here and hit the rafters. This up above, immediately above it, was the flooring for the living room. Now, we could never do this if Mother was resting in the living room. She had to be up another floor higher, up in the master bedroom. Otherwise, yeah, it wouldn't have been good for us. Anyway, so that was a fun thing that we thought to do. And it was during this time that we settled on what to name our stepfather, even though he'd been with us since I was in third grade, the end of third grade. We called him Daddy Dick, and we called our dad Father Dad. And it was as we were going back and forth here that we figured out that's what we felt comfortable with. Yeah. I'm sure that they didn't have this kind of particle, well, not particle board, but plywood. It looks too rough. But there was a wood floor installed on top of that. So this was the ceiling, cement blocks formed the walls, and of course cement floor for the basement, for the flooring. Imagine also something that happened. One day while we were playing, we were aware that the mother kitty had kittens. She had to have a cesarean section the first time, and we kept one of the daughters. Then they both got with child, I guess with kittens again. They each had 6 kittens, so we had 12 kittens and 2 mother kittens staying in the basement level. Where Daddy Dick's workbench was, it was open underneath, and there were drawers, and sometimes you'd open the drawer to the workbench, and out would pop a kitten or 2. Kind of crazy. But we actually rescued a kitten from certain death because, let me explain it for you. From the 3rd floor through the 2nd floor and down into the unfinished basement, we had a laundry chute. And somebody had put some sheets down the laundry chute. And we knew that the kittens were playing over there by the basket that would catch the things that came down the laundry chute. I mean, we were there like in a shot. And sure enough, there was one of the baby kittens in the, underneath the sheets and pillowcases that had come down through the laundry chute. So we saved a kitty. We're very good at that sort of thing. As usual, I tell my grandchildren how Mike and I and Sharon are related to our dad, and then how I had 3 children and how my grandchildren fit into this picture. So they never have to question why. And I've decided I'm going to start signing my books, my little journals. And without further ado, this is what I'm putting in the old steamer trunk upstairs in my office. There's no artifact to go with it. This is my memory. And because I wrote down the memory first, I have the best say about it. Uncle Mike hasn't had anything to say. Actually, we loved each other dearly and still do to this day. And I hope that you find making these journals doable when it's just one anecdote at a time. Like, I wasn't thinking about the kitten scenario when I made this. I love this picture. My brother and I was taken in Florida a number of years ago when our sister Sharon's son Matt was on a mission there, an LDS church mission. But as I, I had to. I mean, we look like criminals here. But photo booths were all the rage at the Seattle World's Fair. Yeah, but as I thought about this, I mean, I planned this layout and I was thinking about it, and I was in that lower level playing, and I would win just as frequently as he would. I held my own, but it was in the writing of this journal that then I recalled how we saved the baby kitten. So, yeah, I've got a list of more than 52 things to write about this year. And in the writing, we remember even more. It's now time for the ceremonial placement of my recollections of playing ping pong with my brother Mike, otherwise known as Uncle Mike, to my grandchildren, and about the day we rescued a baby kitten from certain death. Nothing left to say but Happy family tree climbing and journaling, everybody. That's a wrap.